He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
How you high? No,
Greatest
high
Super Bowl
expectations.
I don't know what we're doing in that front office, man.
Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Her.
Fuck.
Her upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 187. I'm your co-host, Jalen Brown.
And I'm your other co-host, Mahlon Dennis. How you guys doing?
And I'm your other great co-host all the way from the city of Sarasota, Esther.
Once again, we are all joining you on a Tuesday night. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever done the show on a Tuesday. Usually, if Wednesday doesn't work, we'll do a Thursday. But usually we do the show 9:30 p.m. Wednesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, that is, on Wednesday nights. But just, I've got a little trip this week, this week tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he does.
so Tuesday worked out best. So, yeah, we are coming at you live on YouTube. We live stream this, of course, on YouTube, but you can watch the pre-recorded version if you just click the first link down in your podcast description below. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when we go live. But let's open up the show with a nice cheers, boys.
Beautiful. Here's to the Celtics.
Cheers to
Awesome.
the C's.
Oh, what an ass whooping. I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will.
I'm just saying, we whooped the Heat's ass in game 1, then the Heat came back and won game 2, so that better not happen.
No surprises.
Let's just get this one done.
Yeah, let's just get them up out of the way.
We're going to find out. Just shoot them in the head. Don't play with them. They're already wounded.
Let's start off with our check-in of the playoffs that we're going to be doing for the next several weeks here as the playoffs get deeper and deeper. So let's start off with the Minnesota and Denver series, which I think a lot of people were expecting to be probably the best series out of all of these. And so far, Minnesota up 2-0 as they're heading back to Minnesota, which I thought they would steal game 1. I did not see them getting last night's game. Mahlon, we'll start with you. What do you think of this series so far?
Well, first of all, I have to give kudos to you, sir, because you said that you thought, I think you said either the Western Conference Finals or even the Finals. I thought you were just being a prisoner of the moment with Edwards scoring all that 40. People started pulling out all the Michael Jordan might be your dad shit, and I thought Jalen might have been feeling himself a little bit. But, he's talking about, hey, they could go deep, and they got game 1. And, okay, you can steal one.
Right.
You can steal one. But then when you just bludgeon them to death in game 2, in a game that, it's hard to have a must-win game in a game 2, but when you get beat the way you did in game 1, and then you go into game 2 before you're about to go on the road to Minnesota, and you get beat that bad. I mean, they were down 36 points in the second quarter, I think it was. I think that it's got Murray on goddamn heating pads. Might as well be maxi pads because he's bleeding and butt hurt. Throwing those out on the court there because he's just angry. He only got, I think, like a $10,000 or $100,000 fine. It was a $100,000 fine that I just read about a little bit ago. I actually think he should have been suspended for a game because I thought he was aiming for a ref. And you could have hurt somebody by throwing something out on the court. A fan would get barred from life.
Yeah.
If they ever threw something out on the court. So I don't think it helped. I don't know. When you got Draymond Green out there saying you should be suspended, I think Draymond Green, this era's Dennis Rodman wants everybody to be suspended because he's been suspended so much. But I don't know, man. I just don't think that Denver has an answer for Cat and Edwards right now, man. The Joker looks frustrated. He already won his ring, so does he just want to be with his horses?
Right.
Does he? I don't know. I did not see this going like this. 0-2, going back to Minnesota. And Patrick Beverly getting banned from anything on ESPN because of what he did in a post-game press conference. So you got every time the Timberwolves do something, I think of Patrick Beverly standing on the scorer's table like Michael Jordan did when he would win a championship, throwing his jersey into the stands like he's somebody. And at the same time, when the Wolves are at their best and they've passed him by like every other team he's ever fucking played on, he's over here getting banned from ESPN. You know how woke ESPN is that you get banned being on an ESPN show? Like, you're really doing something wrong if they don't want you on their show. Yeah. Crazy. 0-2. Bam.
Nestor, what do you think?
It's just crazy to see, right? Malone is throwing temper tantrums when he wasn't even nearly even right about that call.
Right.
Not even close. Yeah, like Milan mentioned, Murray throwing those heat packs on the court. He was making like a money sign, like after one of the calls by the refs, as if like I don't know what he was trying to say, like it's bot or something. When like, man, they look done, and I don't know if maybe I didn't see enough games from Jokic, but I just haven't seen him this exhausted ever. This man looks so exhausted, mentally and physically. But overall, I just think what Ant-Man is doing is a blessing for the game. What the Timberwolves are doing is amazing for basketball. It's great for basketball. And it's perfect because we would have had 3 years of Denver, just like the NFL. We've had, some team out in the Midwest just winning championships. And it's like, well, what's happening to Boston? What's happening to the Lakers are trash. The Golden State's going through a rebuilding stage. And is OKC going to be good? We don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
And so it's great for basketball. I love the hustle that he's bringing back into the game that the whole team is doing. Supposedly, the guy who built this Timberwolves team also built the Denver team. Maybe he had a little bit of luck there, but man, what this team has been able to do, it's amazing. And I think it's all shaping up to we're gonna have a great final, unlike last year. I'm a Heat fan, but we didn't have any weapons. We didn't have any, besides Jimmy Butler, we didn't have enough to make it really something to watch. And we're not a bad team to watch in the finals. So this is going to be great. Hopefully we see Minnesota Celtics in the final, honestly.
That'd be a crazy fun.
Yeah, that would be wild. Right now, it's funny because the T-Wolves are kind of reminding me of the Nuggets last year, where they're just this really big team that is super athletic, doesn't shoot a whole lot of threes, and is just really well coached. And it's like they're beating the Nuggets at kind of their own game. They've got their two, or at least one of the best players, Jamal Murray, completely in his feelings. He's out of whack. They got their head coach in his feelings. He's out of whack. Jokic is befuddled. They're hitting him with all kinds of looks. They're swiping the ball away from him no matter what he does. And it's kind of like they figured out, hey, if we can take away what Jokic does best and get Jamal Murray just out of his game, we can easily beat these guys. And they're doing all this without Rudy Gobert. Or at least last game, they didn't even have Rudy Gobert, and they just completely destroyed them. So going back to Minnesota and they pick up Gobert, I think Denver's in a world of trouble. And it's going to take Jokic having a monster game. Like, he's, I think, the only answer to prevent them from losing this series. He's got to have some really, really big games where he steps up and he puts up 40-plus points on multiple occasions. Because if not, Denver cannot do anything because Nas Reed, he stepped up big time. I mean, he's well deserved that 6th man of the year for a reason. Jaden McDaniels is locking down the perimeter. Ant-Man is Ant-Man. Doesn't take much more to say than that. But, yeah, I think Minnesota's got this series, which is easy to say now because they're up 2-0. But this team's the real deal. Next series here, we have Indiana and New York, which is, like an old school matchup here. Mahlon, would you like to go first here?
Man, this gets me in my feelings. This series, yeah, this is old school. Indiana Knicks in the East. They were only relevant when Michael Jordan wasn't playing. So let's be real. So 90, 91, 92, or 90, 91, 92, 93, and then 96, 97, 98. These two teams didn't matter. Every other year, these two teams matter. In fact, I believe it was Indiana and New York in the Eastern Finals in the shortened strike season where New York went to the finals and lost to the Spurs. And that was Tim Duncan's rookie year, David Robinson's last year. Could you imagine? You got David Robinson and Tim Duncan playing forward, not center, because you have David Robinson. Like, god damn, like shit. Al Qaeda would have been flying planes into their ass if they'd stayed together. No, man, the whole Reggie Miller doing the choke. I mean, I think it was Reggie Miller came back from a 12-point deficit one time in the playoffs against the Knicks in like 20 seconds in the fourth quarter. I think he hit 3 straight threes.
Right.
Wild. Just so many memories when I see those two teams. But in reality, so it gets me in my feelings of the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't gonna be like that. The Knicks. Brunson is gonna do what Brunson does. The Pacers are not gonna have an answer for the onslaught of offense the Knicks can put on. I don't care about. I felt like the Knicks kind of had like a little bit of a lapse or a lack of defense, maybe. In the first round, and I just don't. I just don't think it's really going to matter. I just think they're so far superior, going to be a better team. Indiana. I mean, the last time we heard from Indiana in the playoffs, Frank Vogel was the coach. Lance Stevenson was blowing in LeBron James' ear, and Paul George was a pacer. So baby steps. You're in the playoffs now. You won a series. Good for you. But I think the Knicks are going to make you their bitch. I think that's going to happen.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the Pacers have an answer either for the Knicks. We're gonna have to bear this for another round. Thankfully, it ends, but soon. But we're gonna have to for now watch the craziness in New York. Brunson, 42 points. Is it per game? He's done that for I don't know how many games now, 4 or 5 games now in the book. Like that's insane. So the dude is the real deal. A bit of an off game by Halliburton. Maybe he should shoot more. I don't know, get more involved. But yeah, fortunately the Pacers don't have really an answer for what the Knicks are doing, and I'm fine with that. I think we're gonna get a pretty good series with. I'm not trying to jinx you guys. I'm just saying I'm that confident. I think we're gonna get a great series with the Knicks and Boston. I think it's gonna happen. It'll be a great series, and then it's all gonna lead to a great finals. So honestly,
great. I love this guy. He already picked Boston to go to the finals. He was talking about it 5 minutes ago. Before you go, Jalen, true or false? Dallas is the number 1 seed in the West if it's Luka and Brunson, and not Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, that's true. That's complete facts right
Come on,
there.
man. That is. They let go of a
Man.
diamond in the rough that was already budding.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah.
They look more stupid every day that he balls out for another 40 points.
I know. Yeah, it's still weird to think that they were on the same team at
Those
one
two.
point.
You put Luca and Brunson against any other duo in the NBA.
Yeah.
In the NBA right now.
Yeah.
They're better than our duo.
Oh
I
yeah.
think they're better than Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
I think those two would be. It's just wild. It is. I don't know. Damn. Okay. Sorry. I had to say it.
Yeah, I think because of just how hot Brunson has been as of late, the Pacers really don't stand much of a chance. No, I'm sure they'll win a game, maybe two. It depends on what Tyrese Halliburton does. But they struggled to beat Milwaukee, and Milwaukee was missing two of their best players for the majority of that series, and they just kept letting Milwaukee creep back into those games. So Indiana's kind of playing on borrowed time as it is. Halliburton, I feel like he's got to do better than, especially that showing he put out the other night. 6 points, 8 dimes, and 2 boards. Come on. Like you're gonna get, your team's gonna get embarrassed and possibly swept if you don't step up, and you're supposed to be one of the best point guards in the league, if not the best. So he's got to answer the bell.
Anybody else think that Halliburton is just a funny ass name? Sorry, but you're playing in Indiana and your name rhymes with halibut fish. You're in the center of the country with no water, and you're named after a fish. That's fine.
Too good. All right, next one. We of course have our Boston Celtics against the Cleveland Cavs.
Let's talk about these bitches.
Yes, Cleveland won the lottery by beating the Disney Magic and running into the buzzsaw known as the Boston Celtics. So, Mahlon, what was your thoughts on game one that just wrapped up before we started?
Donovan Mitchell is going to get his.
Yep.
But the only guarantee you have out of the Cavs is that they have the most boring jerseys in the NBA and the most boring roster outside of Donovan Mitchell. So he's going to get his. He's going to score his 30 points. The only problem is that nobody else in Cleveland can score because they don't have Kyrie Irving, they don't have Kevin Love, they don't have LeBron James.
Still got Tristan Thompson.
They got nobody. It's Mitchell or bust, and he's not going to score 121 a game, baby. So they're just going to get their ass kicked. It might go 5 games like Miami. I think that they have a better 1A right now than Miami did because Miami didn't have Butler. But they don't have the depth on that roster that could keep Miami in a couple games and allow them to win one. So am I still worried that we're going to drop a game like game 2 or game 3? Yeah, because that's what Boston does. Yeah. And it pisses me off and it makes me drink more than I probably should. And there's going to, more wives are going to get beaten in Boston because, the Celtics are going to drop a game to the Cavaliers that they shouldn't. Someone's going to end up with a black eye and a bloody nose. They didn't deserve it. They're going to catch one just because Boston catches an L. It's going to happen. It's Boston. I don't know why you guys are laughing. It's true. We're going to win. We're going to go to the finals. Boston, the Knicks. That'll be great for TV. Boston, New York, yada, yada. We'll whoop their ass. Shut up. And we'll go to the finals against whoever the fuck the West puts out there, which is not guaranteed to be Denver anymore, which I'm happy about because I think they are the only team I don't think we beat in the finals. I think we got a leg up on everybody else in the finals because they got the Joker and we have no answer for the Joker.
Right.
I think we could play with everybody else in the West.
Go ahead, Esther.
I think maybe Cleveland can get a game, steal a game, or maybe 2. Um, after the ass whooping they took today, I don't see it. I don't know if how they could win possibly 2 games. Like Malin said, I don't think they have the bench for that, and they'll let Donovan Mitchell get 30 points, maybe even 40. All they go ahead, score 30, 40, but at the end of the day, Boston's more of a complete team, and they're doing this all without KP, without Porzingis. They're not sweating at all. So that's pretty good because once that man comes back, I feel like they're only going to be stronger. I've always thought that Porzingis is a great basketball player and just adds to a team. So I think they're going to be just more dynamic on offense. Jaylen Brown, I think, scored 32 points today, cool points. Not breaking a sweat. I feel like Tatum complicates things a little bit sometimes for himself. But it's fine. I feel like when he's not there, all there, Jaylen Brown, if he can just, the rest of the team can pick up a little bit of the slack, that's going to be fine. They're going to be okay. So, yeah.
All I'm saying is that if you lose by 25 and Tatum has less than 20 points and he's 0 for 5 from the 3-point line,
Yeah.
You're cooked.
and nobody on your bench can even score over 5 points, you're a trash ass team. You couldn't make it close when Tatum can't even get 20. Just 7 of 19. He shot like shit, played like shit, looked like shit. He looked like the dirty insides of a toddler's diaper tonight. And we still wiped the floor with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's kind of funny because we didn't even shoot the 3-ball very well for the first half of that game. And
That was so bad.
that was still the end result. I don't have much to say about this series. I just, Cleveland has Donovan Mitchell and, Max Strus is cool. Evan Mobley's cool, but they're just getting completely outclassed. Like, Boston is a completely different monster than what they're used to in the regular season. So,
Can we talk about Devin White for 1 second?
Derek White.
This man is Derek White, the opposite of Samson. You shave your head, you become badass. Like, this man, 7 of 12 from 3.
Oh man.
Like, he's averaging over 20 points in the playoffs, I think, right now.
Yeah.
White averaging over 20. Wild. Like, where did this come from? He went from being like a nice role player.
I know.
He's like, oh, ping pong Porzingis out. Let's go ahead and throw up some threes. Like, it's crazy. I love what we're seeing from White.
Yes.
In the playoffs. We need more of that.
Yeah. He's been one of my favorite Celtics for the past, probably since last season, when he's really started to have just big moment after big moment. But this year he's been an X factor. Like, him and Porzingis are just like, they are just so good at everything that they do. Derek White's the man. He's the man.
It might be because I drink a lot of beer when I watch the Celtics, because I kind of feel like you got to get into the Boston mindset when you're watching them, because we blow more 20-point leads than anybody else in NBA history. But it took a minute for me to even correlate that was the same White. I was like, you had this, and now you got this. Like, he has no hair, and I have hair now. Like, what is the world? What is happening in the world right now? Wild. But good for him.
Yeah.
25 points. Get it.
Last series.
All better than Tyler Hero.
Well,
Last series we have Dallas and OKC, which is behind the Minnesota and Denver one. This has got to be another just great series. Mahlon, we will start with you. This one is just game 1 is on right now, so it's kind of just predictions at this point.
I think, now I love Luka, right? And if you were to ask me, it would have been either Denver or OKC, as much as I hate them, I almost talk about them being good. I almost open my mouth. It's terrible. I don't. I just think the Thunder are so much like. I don't think they're good enough to win a title, but they are good enough and young enough to overachieve and be like that 2012. Was it 2012 Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Where then they came into the finals and hit Miami. Like, I think if OKC goes to the finals against Boston, first of all, if Oklahoma City goes to the finals against Boston, I'm going to become a raging alcoholic. I'm going to drink every single day. I'm going to be blackout drunk because Oklahoma City cannot beat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. The city that stole my Sonics is not allowed to beat a current favorite team because I don't have the Sonics. I will buy a white van myself. Then kiss my ass. But I think they're that good. It might go 6 games because I think Luka can drop some stuff. And Kyrie Irving, he's been actually pretty solid this year.
Yes.
He's stayed out of the news.
Yep.
And if Kyrie Irving can stay out of the headlines, that's a win. For Dallas. But I don't think they're gonna beat the Thunder. I think the Thunder are just they're tall and skinny enough. Anorexia running amok in OKC. It's crazy. But yeah, I think the Thunder are gonna win this series. I mean it's a 1-point game right now at the end of the first, basically. Thunder up by like 1 point. But I think OKC is gonna come out of this and apparently play Minnesota, which is the wildest fucking Western Conference Finals that you could ever ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota and Oklahoma City. They're not even in the fucking West. They're in the middle of the country. Fucking demographics.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Yeah, you know what? I think OKC is gonna win this series. I just feel like Kyrie will have his moments, but it won't be enough. He just at the end he won't show up enough for Dallas. Luka's always gonna be there, but I think maybe that knee might be bugging him a little bit. That might become a factor. So at the end, I think OKC is more of a, although they're very young, they're more of a. There's another word for it, but well, they're more of a complete team at the moment, and I think they're gonna win the series. I don't see Kyrie coming out and just matching Luka or just being right there and just doing what he did the other night. I just don't see it. Him maintaining that consistency. So I think OKC has a series, and I agree with Mahlon. It's gonna probably go to Game 6. So yeah.
I think this is a 7-game series between these two teams. The matchups are really, really interesting to me. It's funny because I initially thought that the Denver and Minnesota series would be the same thing, but so you see how that's going. So in this case, I hope this is a bit more entertaining. But I'm just curious to see what happens with like how is OKC going to defend Luka? Like the different looks with Lou Dort. I'm sure they're going to stick a lot of Lou Dort on Luka. How is Josh Giddey going to be able to hit his shots when they double up on SGA and Josh Giddey is a bit more freed up to do his thing? Jay Will, he's averaging over 20 points quietly like the whole season. Is he still going to be a offensive, be able to keep that up on the offensive side of the ball throughout this series? How is Kyrie going to respond? There's so many different interesting matchups here, but in the end, I do think that OKC will win in 7 games, and I think this is going to be a really, really dramatic, down-to-the-wire series. On another note, I know the Clippers were bounced out, but it is really, really funny to me that the Clippers originally traded SGA away to get Paul George and whoever else it was, the draft picks. It's just
Don't you think that
hilarious.
Steve Ballmer is shitting in every toilet that he built in that new arena? No, he's got old ass George and not SGA.
Unbelievable.
You never won a championship. Like, you sold it all to win a championship, and you never really came
Right.
close.
Not even close. Not even
Never
close.
came close. It was never even like the bubble
Yeah.
was the one year where it was remotely close, and they seemed so disinterested. And you've done nothing since then. And now he's got to be. He is not dancing like Windows 95 just came out right now. He's a little bit upset.
Yeah. So there's that. Clippers fans, sorry to bring that up, but I had to. All right, let's get out of the check-in. Let's go into the news for the week. Just got two things in the news, and we're going to start off with the fact that last Wednesday, the Lakers fired Darvin Ham. Although we have absolutely nothing to do with this, I still kind of want to believe that we had something to do with this when we were talking about how bad of a coach he was a month or two ago. So, Darvin Ham out. Ty Lue is the name that's being brought up to be the new head coach of the Clippers. But what do you guys think of Darvin Ham? Do you think that he deserved to be fired in the first place?
Go ahead, Nestor.
I don't think he's mainly the problem, but he has nothing to do with the solution. So why not? Why not just
That's well
sweep
said.
away all the problems that are affecting his team? The organization's just made a series of bad choices, and they're paying for it. It's ridiculous how low that this team has stooped, and yeah, Darvin Ham's not really the main issue here, but he needs to go. Either way, dare I say LeBron needs to go, obviously. And a lot of other players need to go. And they need to actually try to rebuild, not this BS that they're trying to do. This old veteran star power. Like, get out of here. That's not. That's not gonna work. Hopefully, that's what they do. So we get better basketball in the near future. But we might get Bronny. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's good that they're starting there. I just hope they're not thinking he's the main problem.
I would like to say that I think it's typical of a Miami Heat fan to use the word "we" when talking about the Lakers.
Can't help themselves.
Yeah, they can't. They love them some Heat and they love them some Lakers. No, I mean, he wasn't the main problem, but you gotta be somebody it can. Okay, how can you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, the healthiest they've been in 2 years, and you're constantly 7th or 10th in the West? When they're healthy, that's like a top 6 or 7 duo in the NBA. But you're constantly losing. Yes, put it on, players also, you do got to play better. But coaches are expendable in the NBA.
Yep.
They're the first thing to go. You can't get rid of the players. You got guaranteed contracts. You can't just cut somebody. Like in the NFL, Sean Payton get rid of Russell Wilson and just say, you know what, we're going to pay you $38.5 million for you to go play for the Steelers and suck ass because you're terrible. And you keep the head coach, and they got that type of clout. But in the NBA, you don't have that because these players make so much. When you don't win with the players, you look at the coach and we're like, well, the fans want to move. They'll give you a move. I don't know who you're going to get. It's not like Lou is not like he's been fired by the Clippers yet. Steve Ballmer, out of spite, might just hang on to him. Like, I ain't gonna have him. I don't even know if he's good. I'm going to keep him. I'm going to load up my Windows 95. We're going to be great. So I don't know. I just think that it's an it's an interesting time because you don't have a commitment from LeBron James. Anthony Davis, he still gets hurt at the worst possible time. D'Angelo Russell, what happened to you, man? You were you were great away from the Lakers. We bring you back to the Lakers. What is different between New Orleans and LA? Like what is it the gumbo? Do we need to make you gumbo? Like is that what you missed? Do you need a little country boil? You need you some like what happened, man? I don't know. The Lakers are a mess, but we're gonna continue to talk about the Lakers like we talk about the Cowboys. It's just what it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty accurate.
except
Damn.
at least the Lakers have done something.
That's
The Cowboys have done something.
Right.
But the
more
Lakers, the
recently.
NBA Cowboys right now is
Yeah.
what they are.
Shout out to the Man Cave Big Mike in the chat. He says Wolves get in 6, and he likes Indiana in 7. Also says always good seeing you guys and good ass show. Appreciate you stopping by, Mike. The Darvin Ham thing is just a weird one to me. Do I think he's a good coach? I think he's okay, but he's not. Nestor said it the best. Where he's not the problem, but he's also definitely not the solution. He did need to go. It seems like they needed a new voice at this point. But this team was such a Frankenstein type team where it was just so, just not well put together. I've yet to see anybody look at this team. Yeah, this is a great roster. Like, no, this is very odd. You've got an almost 40-year-old man playing here in the first place. Like, let's just start with that. But yeah, the fact that AD was healthy, LeBron was healthy for the majority of the year here, and they get almost swept in the first round of the playoffs. It's like, yeah, it's probably time for a new voice in that locker room. The thing is, though, who are they going to go get at this point? And roster-wise, what are they going to give this new coach to work with? Because if they're just setting up to go get Bronny James or, to keep LeBron as their centerpiece, yeah, this next coach is going to fail anyway. So,
But that's the weird thing about the Lakers is that weren't they in the play-in last year?
I believe so, yeah. And they had a pretty good run.
So they're bad enough to have to be in the play-in, but they're good enough to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what's crazy about this roster is there's such an enigma. You don't know, like even going into this playoffs, if they didn't play Denver in the first round, we were thinking, well, maybe they could move on and maybe possibly get back. And now Minnesota is showing us something a little bit different that maybe you weren't really ever gonna do that. But we're talking about a roster that like you play in the middle of the road into playing the whole season, you go to the Western Conference Finals. In the next year, you're in the play-in the entire year, and then you sneak into the playoffs and you lose in the first round to the team that you're in the Western Conference Finals against.
Yeah.
It seems to have your number. You've beaten them one time in 14 games. So it's like I don't know what your roster has. I don't know what they are. I feel like they're average, but they've overachieved and they've underachieved, and so maybe a different coach can get more out of them. I don't like. They're just you can't just peg them into one spot and say, "Well, this is what you are," because they've shown us so much of what they could be and what realistically they are, and from bad to great. There's so much spectrum there that it's like I don't really know where they land. So they're wild. That's why the Cowboys high expectations never made it. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Next story here on the same day, Dolphins picked up Odell Beckham Jr. from the Ravens.
Yeah, they did.
They are giving him a cool $3 million salary worth up to $8.5 million if he catches. I don't know what the stipulations are. I was just gonna make something up, but
maybe not break your knee. That might be one of them.
I'm sure that's somewhere in there.
Hey, don't tear an ACL, and we'll give you more money.
Play the majority of the games. Nestor, what'd you think of this?
Sorry, there's mariachis playing outside. I don't know why. I'm happy with it.
I think for Sarasota.
Yeah, I don't know. They love. I'm not gonna get into that, but look. At the end of the day, I know it's OBJ's past his prime. Yeah, okay, fine. Last season with the Ravens, I think he had 500 something yards, like what 2 or 3 touchdowns. Um, the Ravens run the ball a lot. I think we pass the ball a lot more. Obviously, Tyreek Hill is gonna, when he's covered or when Waddle's covered, I feel like OBJ is gonna be open. Um, we don't have Chase Claypool anymore. The Bills have that issue, so I think it's a win-win for us. It's great. I think he's gonna have some great stats. The Dolphins. It's only gonna make us, even if it's a tad bit stronger, it's still okay. It's still good. So I'm happy with it. It's not like, oh, we're going all in. I don't know why some people are saying that, like, oh, we signed OBJ, now we're going all in this season. Tell you what, like that's dumb. That's dumb. But I think it will just add a little bit more punch to our passing offense. So I'm happy with it.
I'll go real quick before you go, Mahlon. For the most part, I agree. I don't think this is a great, like, it doesn't really move the needle much. It's good to have him, but,
Right.
He's older. He is not the same OBJ from several years ago. And it was just funny that when that news broke, how ESPN, they're talking about it and they show the highlights from his Ravens year. And they kept kind of showing the same 3 highlights because there wasn't much to really show from what he did in Baltimore. So I don't see it being much different in Miami. So, yeah, go ahead, Mahlon.
Here's what I'll say. Was he not in line to win Super Bowl MVP before he tore his ACL in Bengals? Right? So he tears his ACL at the very end of the season. Then he has a lackluster year with the Ravens. Okay. He tore his ACL in February. How ready was he supposed to be in the NFL going in the next year with a run-heavy offense? And I don't care what you say about Lamar Jackson, man. I think Lamar Jackson is like Russell Wilson. Yes, you can produce numbers, but you're different. You are not route running. You're not precise. It's all about the feel of the game when you're in the pocket. He's a year removed, over a year removed now from the ACL. Yes, he is older. When you're older, it takes a little bit more time. If he doesn't have an injury setback, let's say, let's just go ahead and hypothesize here. Like, let's say he stays healthy. Let's say he plays 14 out of 18 games. Or even if he plays 12 out of 18, is there a better 3 wide receiver combo outside of Bill Waddle and OBJ in the NFL?
When you say that, it sounds ridiculous.
And you still got Mostert, and you got A-Chain, and you got Tua that's about to get his deal. And they got what the fuck is his name? The tight end that Miami has. Fucking Smith, Jonu Smith. I think he's going to end up being a baller.
Have fun with him.
I think you have the potential. Be a really good offense, and you're going to be the third option.
Yeah.
When has he been the third option? Ever? Has he ever been the third option? No. He's never been the third option. At best, he's been number 2. With the Rams, he was number 2 to Cup. Because they didn't have Puka Nacua yet. But now he's going to be the third option. Even as a decoy, what does that do for Tyreek Hill? Waddle. And for everything we shit on Tua about, he's incredibly accurate with the football. He's very disciplined with his route throws. I think it's a really good signing. I don't think he's going to end up with a lot of. I don't think we'll look at the stats for OBJ and be like, well, shit, OBJ was definitely worth the money we paid. But maybe Tyreek Hill was for 2,000 yards this season. What if Tyreek Hill gets hurt and OBJ has to step up for just a couple games and it keeps Miami in the playoff picture for hosting home field advantage? We saw what happens when they leave Miami in the play. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's a really good signing. I think it's a sneaky one. I don't think we'll look at the stat sheet at the end of the year and be like, wow, that was huge. But I think if everything works out the way it could be, if Miami ends up number 1 or number 2 seed and OBJ has an average season, I think that'll end up being a big part because maybe he's filling a hole with an injury. Or he's, they can't double team Tyreek because they got OBJ and Waddle out there. So I think it's good for him and for the Dolphins. I think that was sneaky, Nestor. I think that was sneaky good for them. Because last year when he signed for Baltimore, he was like supposedly going to be like the number 1. But then that didn't end up happening because of injuries, and he ended up being the number 2. And when he ended up going to the Rams, he wasn't going to upseat Kupp. But going to Miami, he doesn't need to be anything special. He can just be average. Name another number 3 wide receiver that could that's more talented than OBJ.
Right. Yeah, I feel that.
Tyler Boyd, he just signed with the Titans.
Yeah.
So out of Cincinnati, like if Tyler Boyd was your best 3 receiver last year, I mean, I'm just saying. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now that I'm hyping him up, he's going to get hurt in training camp. But what's going to happen?
Yeah, it is wild to say out loud of Hill, Waddle, and OBJ. Like that's ridiculous.
And Mostert and A-Chan at running back.
Yeah, and they're still there. Like, damn. But
and they drafted him for running back.
Do not get your hopes up on Jonnu Smith because when he was a Patriot, I wanted to blast him into the sun on most Sundays. So.
Yeah, but who was throwing him the ball though? I mean, come on, man. We're not talking about Brady. If you haven't watched the roast of Brady.
Oh, my God.
Best roast I've ever seen in my life.
It was awesome.
Oh, God.
I really love the Bills Mafia, Joe. At least the Mafia ring you can kiss. Jesus Christ. Trying to buy the Raiders because he's tired of owning the Colts and the Bills. My favorite joke was the one about the Colts and the Broncos. Fuck the Colts because the Colts are nothing but Broncos that don't fuck. It's amazing. You need to watch the show.
All right, folks.
Nikki Glazer, her comment about how she would shoot her boyfriend in the face for a lottery ticket to have the chance to suck Tom Brady's dick. Come on. What are we? Comedy. I love it.
All right, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes with G-Money on the other side. So sit tight, grab a refill, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Hey. Yeah. On my way to the boat, like I ain't just have on a coat when I landed, out branded. Perched at the edge of the branches. They don't wanna talk mansions, mine look like a campus. And I'm all about my brothers like the niggas I'm sampling. I'll leave you red shirted like the twins from Kansas. Really living my dreams I used to have in my aunt's crib.
You had Sean Kemp, you had Gary Payton. What were some of your best memories of those two guys?
I don't think people understand how freakish Sean Kemp was.
Yeah.
As a kid, it looked like he was jumping over the backboard. I'm old, Jalen. Going to the finals, I went down to Seattle 2 times to try to get Michael Jordan's autograph. He was an asshole both times.
Do you think that Howard Schultz and David Stern were in the right in that time period for asking for that amount of money?
The Sonics, again, are the only professional sports team that had won a championship up till then. You know your team is leaving, yet you see the potential because they just landed a superstar that everyone knew he was going to be the best player.
Thunder come around in 08, 09. I was either a freshman in high school or like 8th grade. By the time I was about to graduate, they were in the finals. How much did that just piss you off?
When I say that I want them to go 0-82 every year. In fact, if you want to throw the preseason games in there too, lose all those.
I think it's going to be about a 36-14 game. Tampa didn't play good last week.
I'm going to say it's probably going to be like a 32, 17, 18 game.
It's going to be close. Depends. It's not going to rain anymore. So I'm going to go with we're going to win by 10.
I'll be honest, I think a lot of Eagles fans are nervous right now. I think it's going to be a close game. This is the Julio Jones night. This is the night where we find out what Julio Jones has left in the tank.
You're basically saying Devontae Smith ain't shit.
You know who's going to score tonight? Turn around. That's who's going to score. Yeah.
I think it's going to be 21-24 Bucks. Jalen doesn't have A.J. Brown. He's going to throw the ball to Devontae, but
Bucks going to win it 27-23. Baker's going to drive it last minute, score a touchdown, take the lead, win the game.
All right, so he still thinks Baker plays at Oklahoma. Go ahead.
24-21 Birds, and I only think we win by 3 because AJ's out, Devontae's hurt, Jalen's hurt. We run the football, we win by 3. We go destroy the Lions when AJ comes back.
28-17 Eagles all
Did
day.
you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
He won the chip.
Right. You want to see what his trophy
He whooped my ass.
Oh, look at the unwrapped. Look at this bad boy.
That's tight.
Like we got some.
Very nice. A couple of bad drafts, but you know, the waiver wire.
Yeah, man.
You were
He was
clutch.
on it. Yeah. You
Like
think
thank Taylor for being friends without him. Let's go for the repeat.
We do a sports podcast. Okay. And I can't help but notice that somebody is wearing an inside-out neck jersey.
You know what? It's just a coincidence.
Explain what is happening right now.
The forecast was for rain. I didn't want the rain to fall on the outside.
That's all it is?
Because I love Dak. He's the best quarterback in the league. Big Mike's the best coach ever. Dallas's D is awesome. Yesterday was just unlucky. We won the coin toss. It was a Cowboys win. It was all about the coin toss.
Let's talk defense. You're wearing the Cardinals hat. You don't get a say. Dan Quinn. I don't want him as my coach.
Oh, he's going to be, though.
I don't want him to be.
I heard a stat today. Green Bay has won more playoff games at AT&T Stadium than Dallas. Do you know if that's true?
It probably is.
I heard.
So you still love that?
No. Mike's got to go. Big Mike's got to go. Dan Quinn's got to go. Jerry's got to rip this shit up.
Who do you want to replace Dak then?
Don't say Russell Wilson.
I was going to just ask you, would you trade Russell Wilson straight up for Dak?
No!
I wouldn't either now.
You went Browns to Bills?
No, I was a Buffalo fan and a Cleveland fan.
No.
They were in different leagues when I was
So, well, they were all in the AFC. Oh, okay. awesome. Go fucking Eagles. Fuck you. Hold on, ramparts we watch of the free. We celebrate Dr. Who's legacy. I hate you so much. All right, kill with the sniper. There is so much man on man happening. Bird.
You feeling good, man?
I ain't worried, man. I'm gonna tell him the truth. We not worried. We go score in this drive.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield for game. His name is Baker Mayfield. Oh, okay. The nigga got
For my dark horse pick, Min-Woo Lee, baby.
Oh,
we're
shit.
going back. This is his year, man.
I will go Siwoo Kim.
Siwoo
Kim. Nah, I'm confused. Who did you pick?
Tiger Woods. He's plus 12,500 at BetMGM. Stranger things have happened.
Uncle OJ passed away today, so tonight we raise him on high.
He is going to be the NFL's first Gen Z quarterback. Right. Does he have thick enough skin to be an NFL starting quarterback?
As good as he is, why would he work out when the past countless amount of Bears quarterbacks have not worked out? Chicago is not a team that's going to put him in a winning position.
The USC woman, I actually don't even remember her name because she's actually not that important. She's giving a speech 2 weeks ago. And she says that she doesn't think that Caitlin Clark broke her record because you can't duplicate what's not being duplicated. And she cited the fact that she used a men's ball and that there was no 3-point line. And I'm like, can we not just give flowers to people that deserve flowers? This should be a time for women across the country to celebrate greatness.
If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? Better not drop that pen. We gon' spin again. I'ma spin. We gon' slide. Drop that pen, pussy nigga, come outside. I've been running up that check and I ain't tired. Ain't shed another tear since when my grandma died. I got an all-white rose with the bloody guts inside. Think shit sweet and try. Stepping in shoes is not your size. Niggas ain't step. The back of the Maybach, I sit and recline. Think about what? And I got freaking lens all on my mind. And chrome the spine. What else? Chrome the 9. Then what? Bulletproof the ride. We spin the block and yell like he ain't outside. Heard he had a wedding, he must be the bride. I take them pies, subtract them in the vibe. For that other shit, I'm going for the win. Pulled up with that bitch, then pulled up with a friend.
Welcome back to your favorite show on the internet. After further review, episode 187, second half of the show. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, G Money joining us. What's going on, my man?
Gentlemen, I'm here watching the Mariners. I'm watching OKC Dallas. You know, this is good sports. This is good sports right now. NBA playoffs, you can't beat that. Mariners are doing well. You can't beat that. And then spending a Tuesday night with you guys, can't beat that either. That's like the triple goddamn play.
I love it. I love all of it. Let's take our second half cheers.
Gentlemen. Are you taking a shot there, OG Money?
Jack Daniels bonded. I had to finish off the bottle, so it's a little over a shot left. And I'm like, let's just kill it.
I always ask because he always has a better shot than
everybody else.
I was just taking a shot at Buffalo Trace.
Nice.
But Jack Daniels wanted. Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, I was tempted to do the Jack Daniels single malt, but I looked at the bottle and I'm like, I need to get this out of my liquor cabinet.
There you go. We are the waste bin show of record for alcohol.
All right, let's get into the next topic for this week, which is Mahlon's Misery in 5, which is, for those who are new to the show, this is where Mahlon has a few minutes to detail what is upsetting him in the world of sports this week, and then we have a few minutes to respond, which, as of late, we've typically agreed with him. So, Mahlon, go ahead.
All right, so this one's going to be a little bit different. There's two things. There's one thing that bothers me. There's one thing that I've got to give kudos to. We talked about this all year. First of all, whoever put together the masterpiece of the Tom Brady roast, kudos to you. Just phenomenal television. Nikki Glazer, God bless you. I feel bad for your boyfriend. You won't sell him off for a lottery ticket to, do something with Tom Brady. I won't get into that because I want to keep us on YouTube. But just masterclass. I think it's the best roast that I've ever seen. You go into a roast of a sporting icon and you can think with so many people that are like athletes are going to go up there doing jokes. I actually thought they held their own. I thought everybody did a great job. It was supposed to be 2 hours, ended up being 3 hours. I loved it because they allowed comedians to be comedians.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And Tom Brady took it. Outside of one Robert Kraft massage joke, Tom Brady took it all in stride. There were a lot of jokes about him and his ex-wife. And you gotta have some thick skin to put up with some of the jokes he took. But I thought it was really great. So the Tom Brady Netflix special, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Kudos to them. I'll let you guys respond to that, and then I'll get into the one thing that kind of pisses me.
The joke about the deflated balls that Tom Brady had, like, you could have just paid me and I would have told you.
Great. That was hilarious. And I loved how he broke his phone and tossed it behind him at the end of his monologue.
I will say, him and Kevin Hart were two of the 4 executive producers, which I think just makes it even cooler because it was like, they started the idea was like, it'd be really funny if we did this and let's just pay for it ourselves. Like, I think it was a great idea on their part, and just kind of goes to show that people can laugh at themselves even if they are that high up. So.
And how much comedy superpower does Netflix have?
Right.
Every comedian that was on that stage that night has Netflix specials.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to deal with, the cursing or anything like that. Like, you could just be you. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
It lived up to the billing.
Yeah.
So, now for the thing that pisses me off. The WNBA.
Oh boy.
Is still pissing me off right now. Taurasi can't shut her fucking mouth and stop being jealous of Caitlin Clark. Even though the girl's out here averaging 20 points a game, just throwing it like talking. Oh well, she's going to be a great 3-point shooter. No, she's better than Reggie Miller. Shut up. And she's 1,000 times better than you. Like there's no differentiation between your nose and your forehead. Like shut up. Like just stop, Tarasi. The Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, these people are the future, and they are going to allow for better things to happen for other women athletes. So just let it happen and be happy for it. Stop being jealous over the fact. And it's not only her. There's someone on the Las Vegas team that was jealous over the fact that Indiana has 36 primetime games. I was like, that does nothing but help your league. The league just announced today that they're finally going to do charter flights for the players.
Wow.
You want to know why they're going to be doing charter flights for the players? It's not out of the goodness of their hearts. It's not because the league makes a profit, because it still doesn't. It's still going to cost them $25 million to do it. It's that they're projecting the popularity of the league because of, guess what? People like Caitlin Clark. So shut up and enjoy the fucking leg room in your drink. And just get on with your life and like stop being mad that someone comes in the league that's better than you. Like, did you see like when LeBron James came into the league in 2003? Did you see a bunch of men moaning and bemoaning and just being all up in their feelings with a bloody maxi pad over the fact that LeBron James is in the fucking league? No, they just accepted the fact that this man is an icon. He's going to do some shit. So, like, just stop being mad. Like, take a pill and be happy. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, stop cannibalizing yourselves. Like, they're acting like a bunch of young girls fighting over one guy in a nightclub right now. Like, just fucking stop it. You're stupid. So the WNBA is doing the right thing by doing the charter flights because they are projecting. They're still going to take a loss of $25 million, but they're projecting a popularity of the league because of people like Caitlin Clark. And that is good for everybody in the league. You all can win. You don't have to eat your young. Just fucking grow up. So, here's my misery.
I've got nothing to add to that. That was pretty well said.
I will add this, right? So prior to Caitlin Clark coming into the WNBA, if you were looking for commercials for WNBA players, the only one you saw was Sue Bird and the Corona commercial. That was the only one you saw. Now you're seeing multiple commercials, and that is because of Caitlin Clark. So you want to whine and cry about it? Shut the fuck up, because you're making more money, and you are going to make more money. I mean, I've seen a couple of State Farms that have had that had Jewel on there, that had Casey Plum. I mean, if you ask someone who did not follow the WNBA a year ago who these players were, they have no fucking idea. Well, now they're getting introduced to them, and they will know them, and that's because of her. You know, I mean,
you might know who Kelsey Plum is because she looked incredibly sexy in that WNBA parade with that cigar. There's photos of her. She is hot as hell. How Waller or Weller like lost her by going to New York. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You should have retired before you went to the Giants and just stayed with her, you dumbass, because he's retiring now. But you know, like, Caitlin Clark is the first WNBA player that appears in a commercial where you don't have to put the name of who they are in the commercial, so you're like, oh, that's who that person is. Yeah. So shut up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Make more money.
Right. Everybody wins in this situation, so I don't understand
Like
what
a
the
bunch
points
of fucking soccer moms in the school pickup line. Just Jesus Christ.
Bunch of goddamn Karens.
Let's get to the
I didn't
ride or
say
die
this.
5.
By the way, I didn't say this. Saw it on Reddit. Someone was like, why so much hate against Caitlin Clark? And someone was like, because she's white and not a lesbian.
The exact opposite of Brittany Griner, which I'm sorry you went to prison in Russia. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to the Ride or Die 5.
Let's go before I get us canceled.
This is the segment where we give you the 5 best sports bets this week, all of which are NBA playoff based because we're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. So last week we had a shortened edition just because we were kind of between series, so we only picked 3 games. G Money and I went undefeated 3-0, while Mahlon and Nestor went 2-1. So collectively had a great week on the show. So I will say that.
I don't really appreciate the over pronunciation of you doing one game better. That's right.
There.
It's you know, being undefeated is being undefeated.
Amen.
I mean, there's first place and there's everybody else behind. You know, I'm just tossing that out there.
G-Money, you've been on the show for 2.5 years. You've been undefeated, I think, 3 times. Let's calm down.
You know what? You're still undefeated. If you're not first place, you're last place.
Still last place. That's some Ricky Bobby bullshit, but you're right. You're not first, you're last.
Yeah, so as of right now, I am plus 56. Mahlon is plus 53. G Money is plus 32. And Nestor is plus 29.
Nestor.
So let's hop into the first game of the week, which is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Game 2 of the Pacers and Knicks series. G Money, we will start with you.
I like Indiana. And as we saw from the last game, and to kind of flow into Mahlon's rant from last week about refs, well, his was with umpires, but refs making bad calls that cost the game. They already came out. The NBA came out and said, yeah, they made bad calls. 4 bad calls in the fourth quarter against Indianapolis. I mean, the fuck, that was a close game. I don't think those calls are going to be made in game 2. India's already showed that they can hang with the Knicks. I think they'll win. I think they will actually win against the Knicks. I don't know what the point spread is, but, you know, I don't bet the point spread anyway in NBA games. I bet the money line.
I'll go next year. I'm also going to agree. I think that Halliburton bounces back and does not have nearly as a bad game as he did the other night. Also, like G-Money just said, the refs did kind of screw them over late in that last game. Don't think that happens again. And the Knicks have shown, at least in the last series, that they can be kind of wonky, whether they're at home or not. So I do think that Indiana steals the game here on the road and goes back to Indiana, where the Knicks will probably get their head screwed on right and start to take care of business. But first, I think Indiana steals a game here on the road. So, yeah, give me the Pacers. Nestor?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Pacers just because, like Jalen said, I just feel like the Knicks are a bit inconsistent, and it's gonna show up eventually. I feel like it'll show up next game. So, yeah, give me the Pacers in this one.
Go ahead, Mahlon.
I think game 1 was the Knicks' wonky game in the first 2 games.
Okay.
That was a game that would normally be wonky for them that they lose. We talked about the officiating and they ended up winning. I think Brunson is going to take a husk of corn and shove it up everybody's ass and probably go up for about 45 points. And I think the Knicks are going to win this game more handily than people think. Because, yes, New York is inconsistent, and they were inconsistent in game 1, and that's normally the game they would lose. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a decisive game for them. I think they're going to go ahead and take game 2.
All right.
And Indiana is going to be shitting kernels for a couple days.
All right. Next game, we have Thursday night between the Cavs and the Celtics. This is game 2 as well. I'm obviously going to take the Celtics here. At home, I have nothing more to say. We should win this game. Nestor.
There's nothing that Cleveland has shown that tells me that they can beat Boston or steal a game. Doesn't just because it's Cleveland and they're okay doesn't mean that they have to steal a game or two. We might see a really great Boston team in this series, and they might sweep Cleveland. Like Cleveland really doesn't have much of a bench. They're okay with Donovan Mitchell doing his thing. Whatever, we'll find somebody and like me was talking earlier. Derek White coming out of nowhere and being a beast. They have no issues with Porzingis being out. I think they take game 2 at Boston.
Mahlon?
Yeah, this series you have no inside threat with Cleveland. You don't have the depth. You don't have the bench that Miami has, which is how they took game 2. Mitchell can get his 30 points. He could even go off for 40 points. Nobody outside of Mitchell is even going to score over 20 when it comes to Cleveland. And like I said, you lost by 25 points when Tatum had objectively his worst game in the playoffs over the last 3 years. And so, I mean, going over from the 3-point line, 18 points, 7 of 19. That's not going to happen the second straight game. I'm not saying they're going to sweep Cleveland. They'll probably cost themselves one game. They'll do it because they'll go up by 30 and get soft in the second quarter and let them come back in one game. But it's not going to be in this game. I think Boston's going to win this game.
G Money.
Yeah, I don't see Boston dropping this game unless they just get disinterested come the second half and just go like, whatever. It happened that one game against Miami. It happened 2 games against Atlanta. But the one thing that really bothered me about Boston, and we saw it last year, was their ability to put a game away and put the team away when they had that ability. They did that against Miami, and they'll do it against Cleveland. Boston will win this game, and they'll probably win the series in 5. I think they'll lose one game in Cleveland, and that'll be it.
That's the biggest thing that Boston needs to do if we're going to win a finals is stop letting teams come back when you get up big on them, because you end up playing starters longer than you need to, and they don't get the rest they should.
Right.
It's not even about the games. It's about the minutes per game that they end up having to play. Like, if you go up 20, 25 points on a team in the second quarter, if you don't become disinterested like they do so many times in the fourth quarter, you should be in a position to rest your starters and give them a break. But the Boston Celtics seem to be their worst enemy when it comes to that. So we need them to just keep the foot on the gas and just kind of roll through Cleveland like everybody else who nobody likes to stay in Cleveland. They just want to drive on through. Let's just drive on through.
I mean, the city that's known as the mistake by the lake.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nestor, don't. I heard that. I understood the tone. Don't do it. We're not talking about relationships. We're talking about cities.
Next game. Later that night, we've got the Cavs. We have the Mavs and the Thunder, game 2. This is kind of a weird one because the first game is in halftime right now, so we don't know how this is going to turn out. But the Thunder are up as of right now. Nestor, we're going to start with you. We're going to need to get out your crystal ball for real on this one.
Well, I just don't trust Dallas, man. I don't trust them. I just don't. They might lose this game. Probably lose game 1. I'm okay with taking OKC in game 2. I'm all right with that at home. So give me OKC.
right, Mahlon.
This is the trickiest game out of all of them because all the numbers show that OKC should win this game. Because even if they win game 1, they're more talented than Dallas that they should win game 2. But even if they drop game 1, maybe that makes them more hungry. But then, like, Luka is capable of going off. Hell, even Kyrie is capable of doing something that tips the favor in one game. So I feel like any game that we're picking in Dallas or OKC, I feel like we're playing with fire a little bit. Because you just don't know how the individuals are going to perform night in and night out. But OKC is a better team. Collectively, they play better as a team. So I'm going to go ahead and take OKC. They're up by 9 right now at halftime. They should probably win this game. They should win game 2. But anything can happen. But reluctantly, I'm taking OKC. I don't really like Dallas going down 0-2. I think it's going to be more of a series than that. But just playing the averages and the way the team's playing in my head, and we don't have this game unfolding, I got to go ahead and take OKC.
G Money.
Yeah, we had talked about this earlier. Even though Dallas has the best backcourt in the NBA, neither one plays defense worth a damn. I got to go OKC.
All right. Yeah, this is a tough one. I feel like this is going to come down to a game of home courts, kind of similar to what Mahlon was saying. OKC, they should win this game without much of an issue because Kyrie's having a really bad game. He only has 6 points right now. And even in the next game, since it still will be in OKC, they should still win that one. That one will probably be a bit closer of a game than this one is. I think that the Thunder will just kind of blow them out in the second half here. But yeah, while they're still in OKC, I think that they go up 2-0 and force Dallas to really get it together back in Dallas for game 3. So we're all in agreement on that one. Next game, Friday night at 7. Got the Knicks and the Pacers game 3. Mahlon.
I don't see Indiana being swept. But I don't trust him. I don't trust Halibut.
But he's a very tasty fish.
Yeah. I feel like, I kind of feel like he's going to be filleted and fried here, man. He already was in game 1. I mean, they cooked his ass in game 1. They were eating his ass in the locker room. Wow, that was an interesting statement. That was not intended the way that came out. That was YouTube. Listen to me when I say that's not what I meant. That is not what I meant. YouTube, don't cancel us. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go ahead and take New York, just because I just don't trust Indiana. I mean, you played such a weakened Milwaukee team that I don't know who you are. Like, I don't yes, you beat Milwaukee, but they didn't have Giannis.
Right.
Even Lillard was out. Like, the whole Doc Rivers thing, like, I don't know who you are, good or bad, after beating Milwaukee. I don't think that really shows me anything. But I think that New York has shown me enough over the season and in the playoffs so much. And Brunson, Nestor, stop it. I didn't mean it that way. That's not shit. But I'm taking New York to win this game. I'm getting fined.
G Money.
$100,000.
We need a dump button.
Nothing like fish tacos, right? Nothing like fish tacos.
Normally I go grouper, but we can go Howler.
Yeah, but however, I'm taking the Knicks because I obviously took Indiana to win a game there in New York the next game. But I do think the Knicks are a better team overall. And I think that they land up winning that game, the first game in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I agree because I took the Pacers to win game 2. Going to Indiana, I think the Knicks will bounce back. Brunson will have another big game and shut everybody up in the farmhouse. Is that what they call it in Indiana?
Yeah. But what else do you have but farms?
Stupid. Nestor.
So we're all taking the Knicks game 3. Yeah, give me the Knicks.
Nice.
I love Nestor's in. He just lets me make this.
Last but not least, Friday, 9:30, the Nuggets against the T-Wolves, game 3. Nuggets trying to redeem themselves here in Minnesota. So, G-Money, we will start with you.
I'm going to throw some stats out at you. So, teams have gone 0-2 in the playoffs in a 7-game series. Have only won 7% of the time. That's 7% of those teams have won the series. That's going 0-2. Now, going 0-2 at home, which Denver did, there's only 6 teams. 6 teams that have gone 0-2 at home and end up winning the series. Anybody want to tell me one of the teams?
Denver?
No.
Okay. Well, you threw it up there. I don't know.
Boston, 2017 against Chicago. They went 0-2 at home against Jimmy Butler and the Bulls. They came back and won. But that was 2017. 2021, the Clippers did it against the Mavericks.
The Mavs, yeah.
But we're only talking game 3 here, not the series. Who's winning game 3?
Yes, but they came back. So they won 4 games in a row. 4 games in a row to win the series. Boston definitely did that. They went down 0-2 and came back and won the next 4 games. You should know. You're a Celtics fan. You should know that anyway. You didn't know that.
Denver's not.
Denver actually is going to win this game. They're going to win this game. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why they're going to win this game. So they're going to Minneapolis. The pressure's off of them as far as being at home. You know, the fans aren't going to be booing them. They're going to go there. They're going to get the shit together. They're actually going to win that game. They're not going to win the series, but they're going to win that game.
This is the most Nestor thing you've ever done, G-Money. You literally just told us how this is a business series, but then they're going to win this game. I love it.
I'm telling you, yeah, it's happened. I mean, you look at teams that have done it and who they've done it against, and you're like,
Boston.
I can see. I mean, Denver is a good team. It's amazing, right? They lost by 6 with Gobert in, and then they lost by over 20 with Gobert out. I mean, it's like they didn't even show up. It was like they came in, there was the introduction, and then they decided to hand their jerseys off to whomever to go in and play for them because, they just didn't.
I'm just glad I'm not the only white person that mispronounces NBA players' names because you said Gobert and then you said Gobert in the same sentence.
So I use the English pronunciation and I use the French pronunciation.
Yeah.
I mean, because I obviously figured that most people didn't understand the French pronunciation, so I went English.
There's no rhyme or reason to my pronunciation. I just fuck it up. So there we go.
I am going to take the T-Wolves at home here. They're going back home to the Target Center, I think it is, and I don't know. There is one thing besides G-Money just even proving this even further with that stat that he just gave about only 6 teams. But when you got a team caught in their feelings like the T-Wolves were able to do the other night, it's really hard to get out of that. So in this situation, I think T-Wolves win this one at home. So Nestor.
I think they're having a lot of issues covering Ant-Man, and I think they're gonna come up with something. I think Malone's gonna come up with something, a temporary solution, and they're gonna bounce back. But it won't be enough. They're gonna lose by 20 points. Give me Minnesota Timberwolves.
Thank you for expediting that. Go ahead, Mahlon.
I think I can speak for all of us. I appreciate Nestor's quickness with his picks. He doesn't talk about why some teams should win and then go with the other team as much as he used to. Yeah, do I think when you're down 0-2 that you're necessarily going to win a series? No, I don't. Like G Money just gave it stats. Like six teams have done it. But do I see Denver going down 0-3? I think that Denver might be one of those teams that can right the ship quickly to steal a game when all the hype is against them and everybody's counting them out. I'm going to go ahead and go with Denver for one reason. I think that the Joker, his rashy ass, don't fuck me on this, you Serbian motherfucker. He loves his horses. He wants to see them, but he has some pride in him. And I don't see Denver going down 0-3. I don't see them winning the series, but something about saying Denver down 0-3 just feels dirty to me, like Nikki Glazer shooting her boyfriend in the head, wanting to suck Tom Brady's dick. So I'm going to go ahead. Denver.
I will say, if Denver does let you down, it's going to be a really, really funny Friday. Like, that is going to be absolutely hilarious.
Going to piss me off.
I will throw this out.
Jalen and I have gone against each other in a while.
Yes.
This is the most.
Yeah. For all you Boston fans,
oh shit!
All you Celtics,
let's hear it.
A team that has gone down 0-2 in the playoffs has never, ever won the NBA championship. Now they've made it to the NBA championship, but they've never won it.
Well, I don't think that Denver's going to win it now. I think they kind of screwed.
You never know.
Now, no,
maybe.
Okay, no. D Money, you cannot do your entire 5-minute soliloquy about how they're not going to win and then do the maybe card, man. Like, you can't hedge your bet on that. You made your bed that Minnesota's going to win this series. You can't now say maybe.
I mean, the odds are against them. I mean, 7% going down 0-2, and that's 0-2 overall. 0-2 at home, it's 2%. But
the British, you lose one
but the chance is
maybe.
Hey, we should have won 18-12. We burnt the Capitol. We torched that bitch.
You had us down. You had us down 0-3, and we still came back.
I mean, I don't know why we had to go after New Orleans. That was a nothing fucking place. We went down there, fucking bunch of Cajuns and shit kicked our ass. They threw alligators at us. I don't fucking know what the hell they were. But, we should have just been happy with burning the Capitol, raising the flag, saluting the king.
Oh, God, that's
we
great.
need to bring this thing in for a landing. All right, folks. We've got obviously some very interesting playoff games coming up, so keep your eyes peeled. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. It's right up there. Dallas is trying to make this a game, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Kyrie's going up.
They hurt us. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, besides that, we'll be back next week at our usual time, Wednesday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you all have a great week, and we will see you guys on social media.
Have fun with them single moms, Jalen.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
See ya.